Kids Church. We are in New Philly today. Can you guess where we are?
We are at the Ezekiel Project, and we are halfway through our Psalms of the Summer series.
That's right.
This week, we're in Psalm 46.
That's right. And in this psalm, we see that God is our refuge again.
Our safe place?
Our safe place. You got it. And we see how God gives us strength, He provides for us, and He protects us, which is how He is our safe place.
Hey kids, it's the dude. I'm back, and I want to talk about names of God. And we find two of them in Psalm 46. The first name of God is Jehovah Musai. You say that, Jehovah Musai. And that means that God is our strength and our fortress. And then there's Jehovah Ezer. And that means that God is our helper. So when you feel like you can't make it and can't do it, just remember that God is your strength, your fortress, Jehovah Musai, and He's your help, Jehovah Ezer.
So why does the psalmist keep coming back and saying over and over again that God is our refuge?
Well, just like David, we can go through difficult things a lot of the time. David was always on the run. He had different enemies come up against him. He had a lot of hard times in his life. And just like David, we face those hard times too. So maybe you get bullied at school. Maybe you have to move. Maybe you just have a really hard exam that you got to sit and it's got you really anxious. And so we face these hard things all the time. And when we do, we need to remember that God is our refuge, our safe place in all of them.
That's true. So last week, we learned that there were 3 things that we should remember when we're going through hard times that we can remember about God. And the first one was Bible stories.
That's right.
So can you think of any Bible stories where we see how God is a safe place, our strength, and a helper to His people?
I sure can. It's way back in the Old Testament in Exodus 14, which is a pretty important story. Do you remember it?
Yes. So this is the story where the Israelites are just coming out of Egypt. They have Pharaoh chasing behind them, and they come to the Red Sea and no way to cross it. And yet, in the middle of all of that, God does this amazing thing. He parts the Red Sea, so they have a wall of water on either side, and the Israelites can walk safely across on dry ground.
That's right. And that kind of reminds me of verse 3 in this psalm that talks about the waters raging and foaming. That must have been what it was like to walk through on dry land. But that wasn't the only thing that God did for them in that story. He brought them out of Egypt. He led them through the desert. He led them across the Red Sea, and He provided food and water for them when they needed it during their desert wanderings.
So through that, we see that God was also their strength, because He had to be pretty strong to split those waters. And He was also their helper the whole way through.
That's right. And He provided a safe place for them away from the Egyptians.
Even in the midst of all that chaos.
You got it.
That's pretty amazing.
He is. He is an awesome God.
Hey kids, did you know that the Bible is full of examples of God providing a safe place for His people? Just think about it. In the book of Exodus, He provided a safe place by taking His people out of Egypt. And then when you turn to the book of Luke, He provided a safe place for His people by taking Jesus and Mary and Joseph to Egypt to protect them when Jesus was just a little boy. So I just want you to know that God is a God who will provide a safe place for us and for all His people. This is the dude signing out. Bye now.
So Psalm 46, verse 1 tells us that God is our strength, our refuge, and our helper in times of trouble.
That's right.
And then in verse 2, we see that because He's all of those things, we don't need to be afraid.
You're right.
Last week, we learned the second thing that we're supposed to remember is Scripture. And we know it's a lot easier to get Scripture stuck in our heads if it's put to music.
That's true.
So this week, attached to this video, we'll find a link to Right Now Media and Seeds Family Worship, where they put this part of the Psalm, Psalm 46, verses 1 and 2, to music, so it can get planted in your heart and spring up whenever you are going through hard times.
That's right. And just like we've been practicing throughout the Psalms of the summer, we can pray this part of the psalm as well. So why don't we have a go at it now?
Yeah.
All right. Dear Jesus, thank you that you look after us. Thank you that you care for us, that you are our strength, our helper, and that you are our safe place. God, I pray that you would help me to trust you whenever I face hard times and that I would be able to remember how good you are. Amen.
So, Becca, do you have any new verses for us to work on with Psalm 23 for our memory challenge this week?
I sure do. We are moving on to verse 5, which says, you prepare a table for me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. And younger kids, work on putting the start of the psalm together, so verses 1 through 3. And kids, don't forget to keep a lookout on social media because you have until the end of July to finish memorizing the entire psalm and be entered into our prize drawing for a gift card.
You won't want to miss it. So keep a lookout on social media and be sure to interact with us using the hashtag TBC Ohio Kids and tagging @BranchChurchOH. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.